I'm that girl who says, relax, we've got this. Okay, so it seems like a lot of people are using their free will to clench all of their muscles into very tight tension. And isn't that painful after a while? It is, it definitely is. So, what are we doing to ourselves as we are enjoying the 3D and all of its fun times and roller coaster events? What are we doing to our physical bodies? And there is a lot of things that we are doing as habit and routine that doesn't serve us, including clenching our bodies. I know lots of people that are not speaking their truth, so they're clenching their jaws, and then they're wondering why they're getting teeth problems because they're just not letting go of anything, not letting go of the truth, not letting go of any expressions, not letting go of anything. They are just very, very highly strung. And so then that causes a lot of tension in the back and the neck because it all kind of flows in. Sometimes we can be the pain of our own necks, right? That saying, oh, he's such a pain in the neck. Sometimes we can be our own pain in the necks. So what's going on with your neck? And then what is going on with your shoulders? Do you have so much responsibility that you're putting a lot of weight on your shoulders? Is everyone dragging you down? Or are you dragging yourself down? We can see all of these things that are happening to us for lessons and purposes to get our attention to stop. Stop with these routines that no longer serve us, right? Constantly get into a new routine. So constantly stop and think, am I clenching that right butt cheek? And why? If I cross my legs in a weird way, why? Remember when we get into neutral, so I know we always talk about, being balanced emotionally, being in neutral emotionally, but we need to sort of help assist that more with our bodies. So let's just start showing our bodies what we want to feel within us, right? If the body and the mind are this beautiful in balance and harmony thing, we should have fantastic balanced posture, right? We shouldn't be all sort of slouchy, crossed over and kind of like jiggling or doing something, right? That doesn't suggest to us that you have a nice balanced, neutral inner peace. It doesn't, right? So it kind of makes sense. So sometimes when I've been talking to people and watching people, love watching people who are telling me that they're so super spiritual and connected and blah, 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 blah. But the gnawing their fingers, the jiggling, and they've got a little something else going on with them. I sort of think, I'm wondering what they're holding back and telling themselves, let alone telling me. And so, sometimes we don't realize how much of an easy tell we are. When we are disbalancing our bodies, we can represent sometimes that there is a disbalance in the mind and in the ease and grace of the natural inner peace that we all deserve. So sometimes there's a habits that actually don't serve us. So what's going on there? And it was a great reminder when we connected into the horse, it was incredible. It was amazing how all of these things just from my past day kind of all correlate. And I would never have thought about that horse again until they came in to a session to show me again that message and to get that information. So very, very interesting. And then, of course, it did have an on-flow effect to the next part of my day, which was doing a session with Sally, where we asked about that draconian that was trying to hide himself from us. So it was very interesting, and we're still pondering whether that should be worthy of being shared publicly. So we will look into that more. So it's very interesting. Trust all is well. Right? All is well. When you've had a lifetime where you knew you were going to be a big deal, where you're going to inherit a planet and lead a whole planet, a whole world full of beings, and you didn't get your way because an asteroid, say, for example, just destroyed your planet, you still want to have that experiences of being the leader. You still want to have those lessons and that skill set of being that profound leader for an entire planet, right? And so imagine if that was taken away from you. Your life contract was already there. You had that drive, you had that desire, but for some whatever reason outside of your control, it was taken away from you. Often, as we know from life contracts, that soul isn't like, I'll just give up those hopes and dreams then. No, that life contract, that soul will still then search for new ways to have and fulfill that life contract and experience, because all experiences, right? So if you're super hyper focused on having an experience to lead and control an entire planet, an entire collective, an entire species, an entire everything, be the winner and leader of everything, you're going to be really super focused and heightened into doing that and being that. And so often we know that sometimes it takes a few lifetimes to be able to master certain things. And this is what Dolores had found out as well. When you go back quite a few times in different people's lifetimes, you kind of see what the soul is trying really desperately hard to learn and master, right? It could be a really successful relationship. It could be a really fantastic mother. It could be a really fantastic something, something, something. And you can tell when you go through the journey of that soul that they will experience certain things, master it, and then they will want to gain new experiences and master that from a different perspective, potentially a father if they wanted to be a mother, or something, something, something. Makes total sense, right? When you actually map out, when you have one client and you map out all of their lifetimes and you see all of the trends and the purposes and everything, it's extraordinary, right? We all sort of forget that we've got all these other lifetimes. If you've been on planet Earth many, many times, you can track, and you may even be really loving. I know someone was telling me how they committed suicide and they hated living in this province in China, and they committed suicide because they didn't find that there was much joy in it. But when I asked, well, what was, so they knew these things. So I was like, well, what was the life purpose? Why did you want to have that life in China? And it was about just the skill sets of focusing and having pinpoint embroidery, something, 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 right? So as soon as she mastered that, the rest of the life was nothing to her. I have a feeling that there was probably more to those lifetimes than just embroidery. Imagine that. Imagine doing a whole lifetime in 3D just to be like a crafter in terms of, I don't know. I can't think of a craft that would deserves my joke right now. But imagine that. Imagine I came to a lifetime, Joe, just to have a sticker collection. And I got that sticker collection. I completed that sticker collection, and now I'm done. End scene. Next lifetime, I'll collect something else, Matchbox cars or something. I don't know. Life has to be more significant than just learning a skill set of embroidery, right? So I think she kind of missed the bigger points there potentially. So anyway, so she went back into another lifetime after committing suicide, where she learned another kind of, it was weaving or something like that. But I really, again, think that she was missing the significance of the importance of those people who were in her life and those lessons of learning emotions and how to deal with the different dynamics of those relationships, right? Regardless of whether it is a lover or a sibling or a parent or something, something, something. All of these relationships that we have with people are fantastic and super important, right? And we have heard many times that when we are against a prickly cactus, right, getting prickled to death, emotional death, right, we shut down emotionally because of it. That when we empower ourselves to be able to learn the lessons that those pricks are giving us, it works in so many ways, doesn't it? That analogy of the cactus. Anyway, so when we stop buying into being burnt by, pricked by those cactuses, we actually learn how to empower ourselves. And what happens when we empower ourselves? We never go back to play with the cactuses, right? We respect the cactuses. We see what they're doing. We see how hurt they are. We see that this is a protection mechanism, and we actually give them compassion over anger and hatred. It's a big step, right? A big step for someone to come from that emotional range of, I hate them, fucking pricks, worst divorce ever in the history of the planet. I'm telling you, Joe, some people have told me this. and for them it is the worst divorce ever, so it's very personal for them. So it goes from the worst prickly cactus ever to I hate them, they are a piece of shit, I hope that there is a hell because they deserve to burn in it for eternity. It's usually around there that people start their spiritual journey and try to understand the purposes and significance of these things in their lives, to then their maturity, where that's a spectrum of their understanding what that person was trying to teach them and give them, which is all about empowering self. Because when you're thinking that this prickly cactus is to try and get you, it's fully disempowering, right? You're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim. When you learn the lessons that cactus was trying to tell you, while that cactus was also trying to empower itself, you actually realize it was a gift to you to empower yourself, a fantastic opportunity, one of the most profound opportunities to be triggered to be able to empower yourself to grow from it. So it's a choice whether we want to see the lessons that these prickly cactuses are giving us. And as soon as we've mastered that lesson, and as soon as we realize we don't need to play this game anymore of being pricked by you because I've learned my lessons and I'm empowering myself. So then it's almost as if the prickles can't get you because it doesn't impact you anymore, because you know that you're not reliant on that person to praise you, love you, support you, give you all the attention, blah, 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 because you've done it for yourself. Right? So it's amazing. It's amazing when we finally learn that. And, when we take away the bandages, and we still have some scars, potentially emotional scars, but we know that those are lessons for us to realize and know the difference. So when we do come across another prickly cactus, we will know exactly what's going on for them. Okay, so there's a weakness there. There's a sensitive spot. They definitely have some reactions. They definitely have some prickles. So instead of just focusing on the prick, let's go beyond that. Let's go to the root of why did they create those prickles in the first place, right? Let's go to the source of their hurt. Hurt people. And I was starting to talk about this other thing about when you believe and you have a life contract to lead and rule a whole planet, right? And then suddenly you don't have a planet anymore because that planet gets destroyed. And so you continually search for these ways to have this leadership role. So it was kind of an interesting experience to have with this being who had his own issues, his own trauma, and he was actually so focused on getting what he wanted in terms of owning everything and leading everything and ruling everything. He sort of didn't stop to look at his own inner work and what he had gone through, and potentially when you're so fixated on something, right? Don't we know a friend like this who, they obsess about some guy or some woman, right? Let's just be generic here. So we know someone that's super, super obsessed with someone originally, right? And when you start meeting someone, you have that beautiful love bubble, honeymoon phase, and they become so obsessed, and it may have been like a win to win them over, right? So there's that big long dating thing. And as soon as they sort of get them, they're super obsessed to still kind of like win them and get them and own them. And, they may have not been known for never being able to commit, right? So there's a challenge, isn't it? Oh, a challenge. We love challenges, right? So we know people that love challenges that will do everything to be able to win and get and own a certain person, right? So they're obsessed with it. They've so forgotten that they're not even compatible to that person at all because they want different things, but they are so determined to have full ownership and to be the winner of it that they were just, it's bizarre, right? They're so motivated to get what they think that they want, to make that person commit, to get married, for example, or something, but yet it's like they're oblivious to actually seeing the person. And so I don't know if that was the right response, but anyway, this person has been wanting to rule this planet for a long time. And when they got to stop and look and actually see what they were going to rule, it was kind of like, I want to find a really good analogy or a really good other sort of, when he stopped and looked at what he's been doing and why, he actually realized he didn't want to do this. His actual desire was to lead his own collective, not humanity. And as soon as you sort of realize that what you've been focusing on, what your goal has been working, what you've been working really hard towards, and when your goal has suddenly, you're never going to be able to attain the goal of being able to rule and lead your own collective. And then you've got, you know, this other hobby that's you thought was going to fulfill your needs, but then realized, no, it actually isn't, because he can't rule. He can't rule over humanity. He can't own humanity. He can't own this planet. So yeah, it was very interesting, very, very interesting. Not at all what I was expecting in some regards. So it's kind of interesting, right? I'm still working through it, and still trying to see how that impacts the rest of what we're going to be experiencing, right? While we're all here having these life contracts, it's very fascinating times, isn't it? We're seeming to be able to explore so much and get so much behind the scenes insights in someone's motives, someone's passion. And I really feel like there is a really better example, and I just don't know what it is yet, where someone's so focused on a goal that they've kind of forgotten their original motivation and their original they're so focused on one aspect of their journey, they're completely oblivious to everything else that's going on around them. So yeah, really incredibly quite fixated, you know, and if that fixation, if that passion and that integrity and drive could now be helping and be useful to help awaken humanity to humanity, I think that would be fantastic. So, you know, we can't judge bad behavior. We can accept bad behavior and realize, you know, we can tell the difference between good behavior and bad behavior, that's for sure. So, and while we know that we're completely supported and protected and nothing is going, nothing's been hidden by our teams. Nothing's been hidden by our teams, our collectives, God, whoever you want to believe is up there watching us and protecting us from ourselves, you know, making sure that our life contracts are being able to be as best as we had hoped and planned. We know that we're protected, we know that we're safe, we know that there is much more than just humans supporting this evolution for humanity. Thank goodness, right? Thank goodness. So, you know, we can just relax and enjoy the show and love everyone with compassion, deep compassion, especially those prickly cactuses, because we know that they're not living their most happiest dreams. Can you imagine coming into a life contract where you're like, I'm going to be a prick to you so you can then learn how to grow independently and empower yourself? And if we've refused to step up to that and see that lesson, you know, they probably thought that they could do it for a year maybe and really give us all those examples to really empower ourselves. And for 20 years, 40 years, we haven't empowered ourselves. And so they're still having to play that role to be able to give us those opportunities to grow. Very interesting, right? All life contracts can be all life contracts. Significant, right? What an amazing sacrifice to come in to be a prickly asshole to everyone. Sorry. To help awaken others, to help empower others. And this is what it gets really confusing for people when they're like, how could someone be so mean to me? And what you should be looking at is, how could someone be loving me so much to give me these opportunities to empower myself? And I've ignored it and I've misunderstood it. I didn't see the lessons there. I didn't see the significance, and I certainly didn't see the purpose for a long time. And so this is what I say when we get to that flipping point of seeing the lesson, seeing the purpose, seeing the significance, then you can actually love all of those opportunities to help you, because it was to help you. We always think, oh, that was to disempower us. It was disempowering us until we stepped up and empowered ourselves. No one can empower ourselves. No one can do our inner work for us. So it's quite the journey, isn't it, my friends? When we don't see all of the opportunities that our guides, and the people that love us are trying to give us to help us, because we sort of think life should be this picnics and fairy tales and beautiful sunsets and all this amazing stuff. But what's the growth there? That's really what our natural status is, right? When we're high dimensional beings, we're living the lives. We're living easy, beautiful, heaven, paradise lives, right? That's, that's what we come from, really. It really is. And so why would you come down here in a 3D physical world to have a difference of experiences? And this is when you add in the range of emotions and the challenges of those relationships to empower oneself again. It's amazing when we hear in sessions that the subconscious says, oh, they're very powerful, oh, they're very advanced beings. And they wanted to test themselves again to see, would I get lost in that density, or would I find myself and empower myself and virtually go back to self? In a 3D density. That's quite the brave mission. And it's super impressive when I see that actually taking effect. It isn't an instant thing. It is a long journey. People could easily start seeing these things, at a later date in life, a later time in life. And that is fantastic, because when we come from that density and have those perceptions, we get to feel a bigger range of emotions. And that at the end, when we learn that, makes us even more compassionate, makes us even more empathic to others. So, all of our hardships are fantastic lessons. And that is the strangest thing, right? We want our lives to be easy and not challenging. But in all sincerity, that's literally what we wanted. We wanted these challenges. We thrived and cherished these challenges because we knew we were unbreakable, and we knew we could with ease and joy and grace, find our way back. Just want to say a little update about the Bible. I know some people think it's horrific that I've got a Bible in my house, but I have to tell you guys, when I flicked through some of the passages, it's about love. Disgusting. I can see why some of you hate it. It's really interesting. It's really not quite what I expected. I guess, could have been really simplified. It's mansplained a lot. And I know you would think I'd love that. But yeah, it's kind of like love is the key and love is the way, and love God. And the longer you don't love God, the more sort of bitter and twisted your life will be. Because you sort of think that's it. There's nothing left. It's just this one life. There's nothing else to it. And so, yeah, there's some interesting things there. I haven't been that motivated yet, day 2 of owning a Bible to go into it deeply. But I will. I can see that it still looks at me and goes, well, I'm here for you to look at. So it's very interesting to explore it. So it's not bad. Like you can actually read some really positive things about loving others and loving yourself and loving God. But I'm sure I will come across some bits that I just roll my eyes at and just think, oh my God. No. Potentially, who knows, right? Still new relationship with me in this book. So we'll have a fun little peruse. So yes, anyway. So have you clenched your body up again since I talked about something like prickly cactuses or the Bible or God or something? Have you gone back into tension? Because I almost want you to put like little notifications or alarms on your phone, or wear a bracelet that's tight or something to keep your attention, to notice yourself. Notice what you're doing to your bodies. Are you still clenching anywhere? You can feel really, we need to get into a really good routine of instantly and immediately fully relaxing the entire body. Oh, it feels so good, doesn't it? But when we feel like we've got to go, we tighten our bodies as if we are about to run a marathon. It's not going to be happening, is it, for me anytime soon? So it does feel so much better and relaxed when we just relax fully into the body. And we don't often do it. We don't nearly do it as often as we do. We think when we're laying down and relaxing, we are still fully relaxing, but we don't. We still are tight, or holding our phones, or doing something, holding a book or something. We're not fully, completely relaxing the body. And so even if you can only remember at nighttime when you're getting in bed, really see how it feels to lay on your back and imagine that your body is fully in balance, and fully just get comfortable in relaxing the full body. When I do that, I find that I get clickments into place really easily, and I can feel the tension of the tendons. Sometimes you would think the feet need to be like this, and I actually realize the feet, my body needs a different angle when I'm not standing. It's like my hips are more rounded. But yeah, feel into your body. We've got these meat suits. Let's enjoy them, and let's find what our physical neutral is. Because when we can be in our physical neutral, that releases the pressure from our emotional neutral, right, as well. So let's truly get our bodies and our minds into full balance and neutral. Because if we're trying to do one and not the other, there is disbalance, and we know that, right? So this is really significant. Our bodies are significant for this journey. And so when our bodies are fully in heightened mode and panic mode, and we're trying to be all neutral and balanced and zen, it's actually going to be a lot harder for us, isn't it? So salt, Epsom salts in baths. If you don't have a bath, water baths, foot baths with heaps of Epsom salts will relax the muscles too. And just notice when you're drinking your water to relax the body and enjoy it and all that sort of stuff. God, I feel like a nana to you today. I say this with love, because I know too how easy it is to really sort of struggle with the tension that we put in ourselves, and it just doesn't work out right. It makes it so much harder. We want easier, right? We want easy. We don't want challenging. We just want a little bit of a break, and we want to stop any bad habits that we have, or any routines that no longer serve us. So, God, I feel like I try to talk about so much random things today, but and I really just wanted to impress on you that relaxation of the tension of the muscles. It's super significant. So if you could just try to explore that, that would be fantastic. Okay, guys, have a fantastic day.